What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Norway's longest road tunnel. I actually don't know how to pronounce this tunnel. I just learned about this. It's called the Laerdal tunnel? Laerdal? Laerdal? The A and the E are combined. I don't know what this symbol is. It's Laerdal. Laerdal tunnel. I guess that's how I'm going to say it. It apparently costs $113 million. And this thing just scares me. I didn't know there were tunnels for roads this long. I mean, this is the longest one, I think, in the world. I don't know how this thing was built. But it doesn't surprise me that Norway was the one to do this, because it's super cool, kind of a feat of engineering, and just seemed really interesting. So I found this video here, which is gonna explain what this thing is, and some other cool stuff about it, so let's take a look.
Norway is home to the longest road tunnel in the world, and since it was completed, it has transformed the transport system in parts of the country. Costing a sum of $113 million, the Laerdal tunnel is a sight to behold.
Oh, I actually don't know where this is in Norway either. Oh, wow, look at this. It goes through a mountain? This thing is just amazing. How did he pronounce it?
$113 million, the Laerdal tunnel
Laerdal? Laerdal tunnel? Maybe?
is a sight to behold. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode on our channel. In this video, we will review Norway's Laerdal tunnel and all the important details about the 24.5 kilometer tunnel.
24.5 kilometer tunnel. Outrageous. This would take forever to get through. I mean, relatively speaking. A lot of Americans get, scared going through tunnels. Because we don't have a lot of, road tunnels and stuff, and they're not long. But it's you feel like a mountain is on top of you, and it could just fall on top of you at any time. So I kind of have that deep-seated fear in me. So this thing kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Let's dive right in. Sometime in June 1992, the Parliament in Norway commissioned a project. What was it for? The project was to build the longest road tunnel on Earth to cover a distance of 24.5 kilometers.
Wow, what a project. This started 30 years ago. Wow.
From our land and the Laerdal new highways to connect Bergen and Oslo, the capital of Norway.
Oh.
The Parliament approved the project to cover a section of the country known for its mountainous ranges and narrow roads with several fjord crossings.
Right.
The Laerdal tunnel has a ferry-free extension with a reliable road link between two of Norway's largest cities.
Okay, so they were trying to help connect Bergen and Oslo? And it goes through this geographic territory in Norway that's very mountainous and tough to make good roads on, so they commissioned this gigantic tunnel. Pretty cool.
Free extension with roads with several fjord crossings. The Laerdal tunnel has a ferry-free extension with a reliable road link between two of Norway's largest cities. The government made the decision to build the tunnel due to the strategic importance of the route. Rather than refurbish the road, planners decided to build the tunnel because this move will avoid the risks of causing rockfalls.
Okay.
So therefore, the tunnel...
They were just instead of repaving the roads, just be easier to make the world's longest, biggest tunnel. Why not?
...was seen as the more justifiable alternative to avoid the destruction of the region's natural landscape.
Okay.
The construction of the Laerdal tunnel was just as impressive as the tunnel itself. The work was divided into 4 phases: drilling, blasting, loading and transportation, excavation and landscaping.
It is absolutely amazing that this kind of thing is even possible. People back 100, 200, 500 years ago would never have imagined that humanity could do this. This is an engineering feat.
The drilling was done using remote-controlled drilling jumbos in conjunction with traditional blasting and drilling. To ensure that the Laerdal tunnel penetrated more than 10 kilometers into the rock and 1,000 meters underneath the mountain, the drilling and blasting had to be done with great precision to get the right measurement.
Yeah.
Engineers also used...
This is not a small tunnel either. They made it like very wide and very tall. My goodness.
Used special navigation satellites to evaluate fixed points for other measurements inside the tunnel. There were bearings with laser beams, which were captured by a computer. The computer positioned the equipment according to a set pattern for a perfect drilling operation. Moreover, each drilling jumbo had 3 automatic drills containing hydraulics. As for the blasting, this was done using about 100 holes, ranging between 45 to 51 millimeter diameter and 5.2 meters deep for each blast.
Wow, who would have thought that blowing up rocks was such an art? Wow.
And at the end of a small stick, a detonator was placed at the bottom of each hole. On top, loaders with wheels were used to load and transport materials in and out of the tunnel. As for debris, dump trucks were used. Constructors...
That's right. You can't just blow up the rock. You gotta like take it out the whole tunnel. You gotta like remove all the rock from the tunnel every time you blow it up. That's a lot of work.
Also built a permanent road inside the tunnel parallel with the construction work to enable the movement of trucks. The road was paved and became useful even after the project was completed. One of the main challenges engineers faced when building the Laerdal tunnel was excavation of debris. About 25 million cubic meters of rock were excavated from the blast sites, but removing them while protecting the cultural and geographic landscape of the area was a challenge.
Oh, yeah, like where do you put all the debris, right?
To protect the environment, the Public Roads Administration decided to build more than 50% of the tunnel, starting from a 2.1 kilometers access tunnel in Laerdal. The Laerdal side valley opening up from 8 kilometers east in the town of Laerdal was the perfect spot.
Huh.
At this site, excavated materials were dumped with no negative effects on the valley and surrounding areas. The watercourses were also protected.
That's cool. That Norway is always has a concern, like environmental concern, like as a top priority. Like even where to put the rocks.
The tunnel is about 24.5 kilometers or a little over 15 miles.
Wow.
This makes it the longest tunnel in the world. When it is traffic-free, it takes about 18 minutes to drive through it at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour.
18 minutes of driving through a tunnel underground. I could not imagine.
However, from time to time, traffic tends to build up when there are thousands of vehicles in the route. But during the off-season, when
you could spend like an hour in this thing.
There are fewer cars. It is normal to find drivers running above the 80 kilometers speed limit, despite the speed cameras that are active in the tunnel. Here are some important historical facts about Laerdal that you should know. Although the project was commissioned in 1992, the construction of the Laerdal tunnel started in 1995 in response to the challenges travellers faced when travelling between Oslo and Bergen, especially during winter.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. I didn't think of that. A tunnel, a giant tunnel, escapes the bad weather. It has so many benefits.
Driving over icy mountains was hazardous, so the need for a tunnel passing underneath the mountains was necessary. The tunnel was completed and opened in 2000, 5 years after the construction work began. During the construction process, about 3 million cubic yards of rock was excavated from the tunnel. As per estimates, the total cost of building the tunnel stood at $113 million.
You know, I know $113 million is kind of a lot of money. So, kind of a lot of money. But to build like this amazing thing, it's maybe less than I expected.
Which is about 1.1 billion Norwegian kroner. At the time of construction, the Norwegian kroner was the national currency before the adoption of the euros by most of the continent. Despite the high cost of construction, the Norwegian...
Wait, is Norway, are parts of Norway using the euro now? I didn't know that. Wait, how did I not know that?
At the time of construction, the Norwegian kroner was the national currency before the adoption of the euros by most of the continent.
Huh. Do parts of Norway use the euro or still the kroner?
Despite the high cost of construction, the Norwegian government chose not to offset the cost by establishing tolls in the tunnel, so drivers are allowed to use it for free. For you to enter the tunnel, you have to be travelling from Oslo to Bergen or vice versa. Furthermore, the trip will take you along the E16 road. In addition, there are some interesting facts about Laerdal.
You know, this thing is such like a landmark almost in a way that I would want to drive through this tunnel just to say I drove through the tunnel. Like, I would just drive from Oslo to Bergen just so I could have an excuse to go through this tunnel. Like, it's an experience all in and of itself. Wow.
Firstly, the tunnel is built for safety. The darkness inside the tunnel is illuminated by natural light as fluorescent light. Secondly, emergency exits are installed every 1,600 feet, with numerous speed cameras installed from the beginning to the end of the tunnel to ensure the safety of drivers.
That's very comforting. That'd comfort a lot of Americans who are worried about tunnels, that there are emergency escape routes like built into it every so often, and electricity, and that's good.
There are rumble strips that make loud noises when you veer through. These rumble strips are installed to prevent drivers from sleeping behind the wheels. Although the tunnel holds the record as being the longest underground tunnel in the world, it is not the longest tunnel overall though. The 6 longest tunnels in the world are all water aqueduct tunnels, with the longest of them all being the Delaware Aqueduct in New York State, stretching for 85 miles in New York State. Then there are subways that are longer than Laerdal. As for tunnels used extensively for road trips, the Gotthard Base Tunnel has recently broken its record by stretching for 57 kilometers. Gotthard is longer than the longest rail tunnel Boulder, which is the Seikan Tunnel in Japan.
Okay. So that's why they specify that this tunnel is like the longest, like for cars to drive through?
The Norwegian Public Roads Administration, or NPRA, had to deal with the challenge of making the tunnel as comfortable as possible for travellers. If the trip is too monotonous, drivers will lose concentration and accidents will occur. To deal with this challenge, experienced psychologists at SINTEF, a technological research association, worked closely with the NPRA to assess the situation and to proffer solutions. Simulators were used to find the best lighting and design solutions. The safe viewing distance was tagged at 1,000 meters and longer.
Wow, they did research to try to come up with the best way to make sure people stayed awake and alert through the tunnel. That's pretty good. Like, that is some top-notch Norwegian engineering there.
The tunnel was also subdivided into 4 different sections so as to widen the area to allow coaches and trains to pass through without reverse motions. Furthermore, fire extinguishers are installed every 125 meters with 15 turning areas for buses and trailers.
Wow.
There are also emergency niches strategically placed every 500 meters. Laerdal Tunnel is ventilated longitudinally through one air exhaust shaft that is placed 18 kilometers from the Aurland point of the tunnel.
You know, I haven't said this, but one of my favorite things about this tunnel is that they didn't, like, cover the walls in, like, cement or anything. So it's very high-tech and very cool, but it looks like rocks, and it looks like a tunnel that was just, like, dug and bored through. It's very natural looking. It's very cool looking.
10 kilometers from Aurland is a cleaning plant system. The plant cleans the air that passes through the tunnel. The plant removes polluting components and improves the air quality. Experts also continually monitor the air quality, and the cleaning system is activated when required. Experts also installed an electrostatic precipitation that purifies the tunnel at regular intervals, while also maintaining the gas filtration catalyst. The safety of drivers at Laerdal is of utmost importance, so safety measures have been put in place. For a tunnel with fewer hazards, it has more than enough safety equipment to keep drivers safe all through the 18 minutes journey. There are fire extinguishers and emergency telephones.
Wow, they really did put a lot of stuff in this tunnel to, like, put people at ease.
Huge sum was spent on monitoring equipment like radio connections, ventilation systems, lighting, traffic lights, and many more. The monitoring centre checks and monitors the tunnel round the clock, and should an accident occur, the centre closes the tunnel until the situation is brought under control.
Wow.
For drivers already inside the tunnel, there is a radio signal transmitted to inform them about where to turn and where to stop. Laerdal Tunnel is not only the longest under rock road route, but also one of the safest in the world. A lot of care and planning went into its construction, and for years now, this tunnel has served the needs of travellers moving between Bergen and Oslo, and vice versa.
It really does sound like a lot of care and preparation was put into this.
For more than 2 decades, Laerdal has served the people of Norway, and long may that continue.
I didn't realize this tunnel was so old. It's like 20 years old. People have been using it for 20 years. I didn't know that. I thought, I was like, oh, this is the first I've heard about it.
If you enjoyed this video, let us know what you think in the comments section below.
Okay. Wow. This was by Tech Plans. I like it. That was a very good video. Sheesh. This was like an amazing, random, like Norwegian thing I never knew about. But somehow it doesn't surprise me that it exists in Norway, like these cool things. Norway basically was like, hey, this tunnel makes sense. Let's fund it and let's build it. And that's exactly what happened. Like, it's very cool how Norway is very quick to like get stuff done and isn't weighed down by like paralysis of decision making. And like, this is obviously a really smart project for like the Norwegian society and travel and trade. Like, it makes sense on so many levels. And of course, the execution was done perfectly. So this is just super cool. I really enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video as well, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, stuff in Norway that I have never seen, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.